Fear success, not failure. What if everything we've been taught is wrong? I went to see musicians tonight, and there was 4 of them, and they were all performing, taking turns. And you could see the tentativeness in the way they sang, in the way they strummed the guitar, because there was this eager desire not to fail. And it created a safe, albeit boring, session. Boring to listen to. There lacked that energy and vitality that comes from people who don't care whether they succeed or fail. They surpass that. That's just the tip of the iceberg. I think below the iceberg lies art, lies genius, lies passion, creativity. And that's coming from a different place where you get out of the way of your own ego. You get out of the way of yourself. So you create whatever it is you create, irrespective of consequence. I'm not saying harm other people, but I'm saying whether it's going to get applauded or booed. I think it was Jim Carrey said he would purposely go on stage at some points during his career with the sole purpose of getting booed. And in our culture, we idolize success. And so we emulate those famous people that are successful. One, we don't see the progression of failures that it took for them to become successful. And secondly, most likely people are derivatives of other acts, of other musicians, of other performers, actors and actresses, and they try to mold themselves from that cast, from that die, from that sculpture that's well received and well liked. Instead of saying, you know what, I love who I am, I love expressing myself, I love doing that which makes me happy, joyful. And I love that more than I love your approval. Now, there's very few people that can get to that point. And I think that's why a lot of artists turn to drugs and turn to alcohol. And it almost gives them permission or excuse not to care, not to give an F. And say, it's like it numbs them to the pain of rejection. And we have, as a culture, as society, have become so sensitive to rejection. You know, it's like feeling the temperature in a room and it gets too cold. We become so sensitive and we start shivering. Instead of saying, you know what, I don't give a damn if I shiver. I don't give a damn if I sweat. I'm just going to get out of my own way. I'm watching this video on Selby. He wrote Requiem for a Dream and a lot of other famous books. And he says, who am I to get in the way of my creation? And who am I to question what wants to come out of me, what wants to be typed on the page, or what wants to be expressed in YouTube videos, or wants to be expressed in relationships or jobs? Or we live in a climate of fear, and it's our self-induced paranoia and fear that creates cookie-cutter personalities. And it's suffocating. So you never know who people really are down to the core, because they're so fearful of your rejection of them, because they identify, that's their self-worth. Their self-worth becomes a mirror on what you think about them. If society and other people like me and approve of me, I feel good about myself. But that goodness, that good feeling is only temporary, because it's like a drug. You need it again and again. Instead of having it rejuvenate within yourself and express outward, we try to suck it like vampires from our culture and our society and people around us. Because we fear failure. We fear looking bad. And I thought, what a revolutionary way to live one's life if we feared success and not failure. So we fear, when I say fear success, we fear the attachment, the clinging, the longing, the desire to be successful. And whether that's financially, whether that's in relationships. And when you idolize success, generally you take the path of least resistance. You take the easy way out. You get stuck in your comfort zone and are unable to break out of it. So you become in this own little lukewarm pool of mediocrity. And that's not how I want to live. But it's challenging because every day you have to be conscious and listen to what's going on in the monkey mind and say, okay, am I doing this for the right motivation? What's behind my action? I can even hear myself, things I say. I have the censor that will say, oh no, don't say that. That could be a little bit, come across the wrong way, or might be offensive, or might stand out. And I have to acknowledge it and still say what I wanted to say anyways. And again, it's just getting out of my own way. And with practice and experience, I realized, whoa, the fears were instilled in me at a very young age. And that programming was in order to control me. It's easy to manipulate and control someone that craves approval, that is afraid of failure, that fears rejection. You can control them and get them to do what you want. It's very, very effective. And so we're conditioned that way, and it goes back also to we are the human animal. It goes back to our primordial, tribal, survival of the fittest instinct, and that's to crave being accepted, to be part of the tribe. Because, thousands of years ago, if you were cast out of the tribe, the likelihood of you dying was great. You didn't have the protection of the tribe, you didn't have the resources of the tribe, and our spirit and our mentality is still in that tribal mode without realizing, hey, I could be rejected and still survive. I can still have disapproval and decide, you know what, I don't want to go to college and be a cookie cutter and take business classes or take general ed classes. Something in my heart is leading me towards doing this or doing that. And if we're disapproved and we're castigated, it's okay. We're still going to survive, especially in America. We're very blessed with pretty much anybody who's industrious and doesn't have a high standard of living can put food on the table, a roof over their head, and have enough clothing and shelter. So we're very fortunate that way. But always wake up with the idea and say, how can I fail today? What can I do to push myself out of my comfort zone? And I don't speak failure in the typical sense, the failure, well, I don't care, I'm going to do a bad job. I'm saying think beyond that. You're letting come out what is inside of you freely. Again, getting out of your own way. In everything, in communication, in even something as simple as getting lost. We're so attached to, are we lost? Are we on the right way? No, I'm saying get lost. Get lost when you drive, because it takes you to some amazing places. Get lost in the people you meet. Get lost in the books you read. Get lost in the foods you eat. Get lost in the experiences you have, the adventures you have, the careers you try. Fail. 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 And suddenly, when failure, you practice it, and not failure is no longer an obstacle, it's a blessing. It's like breaking out of prison.